The next step after the CD-ROM was to put our own data on a disk without needing a CD production line bought for millions of dollars. It was published in 1988 by Sony and Philips as CD-VO or CD-WORM, which stands for Compact Disc Write Once, Read Multiple Times, as it was originally called. By the time it was launched in 1990, it was already renamed to CDR, Compact Disc Recordable. Around 1988, the Tandy Corporation also announced a rewritable disc format with a drive, but no one trusted them, so it died in ashes. It was the TOR, the Tandy High Density Recording, and advertised as 100% compatible with CD. For CDR and RW, the most important components were the die itself, thanks to Taiyo Yuden, whose pioneering role was unquestionable. Taiyo Yuden is among the biggest manufacturers in the field of rewritable media, though not under its own name, but almost all other big names produced therefore. Examples include Fuji, Fusion, Maxell, Panasonic, Blackstar, TDK, Sony, and under many other names. And their own brand name is DATS. The cyanin green surfaces are patents of Taiyo. UV sensitive, after heavy exposure, even in 2 days, data loss is possible. Phthalocyanin is another common surface. These are silver, blue or gold colored, and slightly less sensitive to UV. It takes 2 weeks to lose data, but the laser also should be stronger when writing. It's a patent of Swiss Shiba and Mitsui of Japan, and the dark blue surface of Azo is a patent of Mitsubishi Chemical. It's significantly more durable and tolerates UV exposure much better, up to 3-4 weeks. In addition, all CDR's light reflectance are smaller than factory printed ones, roughly 40–70%, therefore laser units with better tolerances are needed to play them. Do you still remember that for CDDA and CD-ROM there is nothing the laser can track, therefore it's also possible, for example, to tighten the spiral, and they just trust that the laser will be able to follow. Well, for CDR there is a pre-groove for the burner, which has several functions. Firstly, guidance for the writing laser. It also contains information for the drive about details of the inserted disc. Both CDR and RWs can be found. This is called ATIP, Absolute Time in Pre-Groove. ATIP consists of the following parts: manufacturer identifier, writable or rewritable disc type, surface type, the length of the spiral, which is measured in blocks, and the possible write speed. The drive reads this ATIP information while writing the disc, and thus can follow the spiral. The disc has at least 4 layers: a polycarbonate plastic, the recording layer, the reflective layer, and the protective layer. Writing a CDR doesn't create real bits, only the material changes its reflectivity in the areas where the laser touched. CDRs are based on the same formulas like factory printed discs, regardless written as audio CD or CD-ROM. All bug fixes on both will be added, and both also use 8–14 modulation. Therefore, these discs are fully compatible with all devices, even with the old CD players. What happens if we want to write a smaller file to the disk and add something else later? There are 3 writing methods offered as a solution for this. You remember that the CD has 3 main areas, right? The lead in, the program area, and the lead out. Well, these are also necessary for recordable discs, but a little trick has been added. There may be more of them. So, if we write a smaller file to disk, and we would continue the writing later, it's not important to conclude with the lead out. The disk at once writing mode indicates we will fill up the entire disk with data in the same time. We do not wish to add later. In this case, the content will be finalized. The track at once mode, the file is written but it's not finalized after, so can be added later. Make sure the software recognizes the already existing data tracks and add it to the new TOG data. In packet writing mode, the packages can be edited a bit. Add, delete, but it remains hidden for all other drives. If we delete, we will not get the place back. It just won't include that section in the TOG data. This method has compatibility issues. The drive prices by 1995 went from $10,000 to under $1,000. The CDMO format was described in 1990, but Philips and Sony started to research magneto-optical storage much earlier. This means they need to heat the material up to its curry point, where it can be remagnetized, but at a normal temperature holds its properties. The same procedure applied to the mini-disc, which was launched in 1992. The CDMO, or any similar name in other patents, based on the same properties. There are storage capacities of anything between 600 MB and 6 GB. They do not necessarily use a 12 cm disc, but there are also smaller and larger ones. The product was renamed to CDRV and became available in 1997. The RV disc is based on the change of magnetic phase, but the reflection falls between 15 to 25%, causing compatibility issues, so much more sensitive drives are required. Most properties are the same as the CDR and CDDA formats, but of course there are differences. There is also a pre-groove here, but also other data necessary for the writer. At the beginning of the disk is an empty area, as in the CDR and CD-ROM, reserved part. Then comes a PCA, power calibration area, which indicates the necessary strength for the laser. The next part is the PMA, program memory area, which contains the following data. In the case of non-finalized disk: TOC data, open sections, what is located where, program area, the data line itself. How much data can fit on a disk? Basic CDR disk was 650 MB, then 700 MB became the most common. But what does it mean? You must have experienced that your hard drive is, for example, 1 TB, but it will be about 930 GB after formatting. Well, the main reason for this is that the hard drive manufacturers using different units when specifying the space. Two methods are used. One is based on the binary system in multiples of 2. This is kibibyte, mebibyte, gibibyte, tebibyte, pebibyte. The other is based on multiples of 10, which is the commonly known kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte. And this version is also the SI unit. So this means the megabyte MB is 10 on the 6th byte, which is 1 million bytes, 1000 kilobytes, but only 976.5 kibibytes, which will be in multiples of 2. 1 MIB on the other hand will be 1024 kibibytes, 1,048,576 bytes, 1048.5 kilobytes. There is a good exchange calculator on the internet. So the storage is based on 10, the decimal, while the operating systems, Linux, Windows and even the Mac until Snow Leopard used binary count. Apple switched to decimal from Snow Leopard release. In the description, MB, GB, TB are decimal, while MIB, GIB, TIB indicates the binary counting, as long as they are used accurately. However, it is mixed almost everywhere, even on CD 700 MB, correctly 703 MIB, because it does not count in the data volume of the error correction bytes. Of course, no one usually cares about it, just simply called kilo, mega, giga, tera. CDRV has a minimum writing speed as well. In theory, an RV disk can be rewritten 100,000 times, but for me, from the 10th, 12th rewrite, errors occurred. Both CDR and RVs are expected to last up to 100 years. But of course, the format is not that old yet, to be sure about this. And it's certain a lot of disk won't last that long. Thanks for watching, press like, subscribe, see you next time, bye!